This video is sponsored by Squarespace, the one-stop shop for building scalable websites to run your online business. Elon Musk is extremely positive on Tesla's full self-driving technology, just recently saying that autonomous driving cars are absolutely coming and will be one of the biggest transformations ever in human civilization. Tesla's FSD Beta software continues to advance rapidly as Tesla has been putting out new updates every few weeks with its two-step forward, one-step back approach. This allows them to deploy software quickly to get rapid feedback, and using their large regression testing suite, they ensure high quality and drastically limit the number of side effect bugs that are reintroduced into the system. Cathie Wood of investment firm ARK Invest has said that the more they're looking into Tesla's AI strategy and learning about what Tesla is doing in the world of full self-driving, it's shaping up to be more probabilistic that Tesla can turn this into a viable robotaxi product sooner than people think. Cathie Wood says that the more research they do, their confidence has actually grown, and they believe that Tesla will be the autonomous network, certainly in the US and in other geographies as well. Now, it seems that competitors have actually diverged from Tesla in that not only do most of them have a different strategy than Tesla, but they actually have a different goal. Tesla and others are going after two different things. The word robotaxi appears to be the common objective of all the industry players. However, Tesla is building a vision-based system that relies heavily on machine learning and AI in order to see and understand the world and make a driving decision based on the light waves that are picked up by the cameras. This is almost mimicking how humans drive, by looking at the world around us, interpreting it, and making a decision. The end goal is a system that should be able to handle scenarios it hasn't seen before, similar to how humans react to driving situations they've never been in. They're still able to navigate the road. And so the final robotaxi product won't be limited by geographies or terrain, or back roads or underground parking lots, or even strange objects that appear. Even adverse weather conditions, such as fog or snow, can be trained for and improved upon to be better than a human driver. The AI should eventually be able to handle pretty much anything a human would and more. On the contrary, many of the other players in the industry view robotaxis differently and rely heavily on what's called HD maps and LiDAR sensors in order to drive the vehicle. The vehicle's cameras and/or LiDAR system use the scenery in order to accurately estimate the vehicle's location and place the vehicle onto the road according to where the HD map indicates a drivable space. They do this mainly by averaging out the driving paths of previous vehicles who have traveled that area to determine the drivable space. This works in many cases, however, the algorithm has trouble keeping its accuracy if the roads change due to construction, for example. A fleet of vehicles needs to correct the map every time something in the real world changes in order to keep the map up to date, and then the map needs to be sent to every vehicle in real time. This opens the doors for some obvious issues, such as the challenges with maintaining a reliable internet connection to the vehicles in order to receive the latest maps, and also making sure that some part of the vehicle fleet is able to manually navigate new areas first in order to relay to other vehicles the new paths of where it's safe to drive. In particular, this means that big cities may actually be easier to navigate versus rural areas, since large cities have many vehicles constantly driving in all possible drivable locations. If there's construction and a new lane is created, for example, very quickly there's many cars that begin using this new road structure and can update the maps. In less populated areas, however, some roads may not be used very often, which drastically lowers the confidence of this type of mapping system, which doesn't know how to navigate an area that isn't mapped or has an outdated map. The end result of what may also be called a robotaxi service may more closely resemble that of a shuttle service, where the vehicle is essentially geofenced to mapped roads and may behave in adverse ways if lesser traveled roads change. Simply put, this makes a vision approach more difficult to achieve, but highly global and scalable when it works, while a mapping approach is more quickly achievable, but may run into major constraints when trying to deploy at scale. And so for Tesla, One very big advantage that they now have is that thousands of Tesla owners are able to use the latest FSD software as part of the beta program, and they're uploading to the internet hundreds and hundreds of hours of their journeys, which is also part of Tesla's journey to full self-driving. Tesla has also been very open during its AI Day, showcasing its technology roadmap for how they plan to accelerate training and testing validation using new machine learning techniques as well as custom-built hardware. And so from a business perspective, investors are always looking at which company is in the lead when it comes to achieving a scalable autonomous driving solution. The first mover will likely have a big advantage and could quickly draw attention from other players in the space who are looking to sign deals in order to license the technology for their own vehicles. And what Tesla has done by showcasing their technology, and they likely still have some secret sauce that they're not giving away, but by allowing thousands of users to experience FSD, Tesla is demonstrating their transparency and therefore their massive lead for a scalable solution. Whether or not Tesla is quote-unquote late to deliver a robotaxi product, from a business standpoint that doesn't really matter as long as they can beat out their competitors in terms of either speed to market or being more scalable and being able to handle a wider array of driving situations, or all of the above. There appears to be a lot of faith and trust behind many of these other companies that work on self-driving technology, despite either no real customers using the product, vague or opaque technology that isn't well explained or is explained in terms of marketing jargon or buzzwords, and a lack of available video footage showing a variety of use cases and produced by a third party. Of course, no company will make a video showing mistakes that the vehicle made using its own software. Even Tesla has only published a small number of self-driving videos, all being flawless. But the thousands of beta testers uploading video footage of the good and the bad for us all to visualize has been pretty incredible, not only in seeing the software improvements over time, being able to handle complex situations, or the detailed release notes showing what new features or bug fixes are in each release, but also just the fact that they're allowing thousands of third-party people to use the software speaks spades about how good their software, ability to iterate, and overall strategy is. Now, just as scale is essential for Tesla, it's also important for running your business or website. That's why today's sponsor is Squarespace, an online platform that helps you create your own websites in a beautiful and scalable way. I created my own Squarespace website, and the first thing I noticed was a large variety of templates to choose from. It's really an all-in-one platform for building professional websites, stores, or portfolios. I selected this blog-style design which interested me since I like to talk about the stock market and, of course, Tesla. Now, I wanted to make it into a business, and with Squarespace, this can be quickly turned into a storefront to add digital or physical products and services, and you can even check the related analytics all in one spot. Squarespace even has an integrated set of tools for automatically optimizing your website for mobile devices, and they help make search engine optimization a breeze with simple guides to maximize your prominence in search results. So if you don't have a website or online store presence today, and you're thinking of starting one, look no further than Squarespace and head to squarespace.com/TMIOTesla to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain using code TMIOTesla. And thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Now, George Hotz, who runs Comma AI, a company working on self-driving through a vision-based approach, he said that Tesla isn't data constrained, they're bug constrained. He's making the case that adding more data isn't going to help Tesla progress any further, at least not at this time. And for one thing, George Hotz's company is also bug constrained, which is why he said this, but we do see that Tesla, with each release, they are fixing many bugs, and there's certainly sections of code that need to be upgraded, which may not be bugs essentially, but stories or features. Now, George Hotz said this before Tesla's AI Day had occurred, but as it turns out, AI Day, which was targeted at recruiting, was a brilliant move by Tesla as they've been on a hiring spree, especially bolstering their software development workforce and AI expertise. Right after AI Day, Tesla released this graph showing that they received 100 times more weekly job applicants than normal in the week following AI Day. Now, Tesla doesn't give any absolute numbers of the applicants here, but that really doesn't matter. Even in the worst case scenario, if they were just getting one person applying per week normally, which is unlikely, they would then have gotten 100 applicants after AI Day. That's as if 2 years worth of applicants have been compressed into a single week. So that's a really massive success, and it's likely that number of applicants remained high even afterwards. And so Tesla is rapidly growing their AI team, and if George Hotz is right that Tesla is bug constrained, then Tesla is making good use of their resources to get more people relieving the bottlenecks in the system to accelerate the pace at which they can really focus on training their neural nets with more data. And research has shown that neural nets continue to improve given more data. In this case, edge case scenarios from users driving in the real world. Now, what's really interesting if we dig a little deeper is that with Tesla's FSD Beta, they're using a safety score to rank drivers, and the safety score is the gateway to Tesla insurance. Let's start by saying that the insurance industry is massive. It's upward of $300 billion per year in the US alone. It's dominated by these players and is actually quite stable with a very low rate of growth and low innovation. But that said, in the last couple years, these companies are relying more on their phone apps to collect additional driving information. But effectively, in terms of insurance premiums, good drivers are still subsidizing bad drivers because the insurance company data isn't so great and they need to charge everyone enough to cover insurance claims, their expenses, and to make a profit. In the third quarter of this year, Tesla launched their safety score feature. They said that they had 150,000 people using the safety score, and 100 million miles have already been driven by these users as of the Q3 report. And what Tesla learned is that the collisions were 30% lower for customers using the safety score, and the score also lined up with Tesla's models. Tesla uses 5 main factors: forward collision warnings per 1,000 miles, hard braking, aggressive turning, unsafe following, and forced autopilot disengagement to determine the scores. But Tesla is basically collecting information that insurance companies can only dream of, since they know exactly what the car is doing, which is significantly more accurate than a phone app trying to guess when a sharp turn was taken. And so with this product, not only will drivers be more accurately assessed and good drivers will pay a smaller premium, but overall everyone should pay a smaller premium because Tesla is proactively communicating to the driver how they can drive better and what they did wrong. And Tesla knows that since insurance premiums are one of the largest vehicle expenses yearly, even saving someone $30 a month makes a huge difference in lowering prices, making Tesla vehicles cheaper to own and more accessible, and also more competitive versus other cars and insurance companies in the industry. So this has the potential to be truly disruptive. But I think Tesla is planning to go even a step further. See, the safety score is a way of gamifying insurance, but really, using this mathematical model, Tesla has been able to rank the driving level in a non-perfect, perhaps slightly vague way, but it's not bad. And those people who score close to 100, a perfect score, are the ones that Tesla deems excellent drivers, and they're led on to the FSD Beta program. I think what this really means is that Tesla has found a way to filter out the best drivers to be the ones to train the full self-driving system. You wouldn't want a terrible driver to be the person who taught FSD Beta how to drive. So Tesla has separated the creme de la creme drivers from the rest and is learning from them and refining the system using their input. This is a little mind-blowing and exciting because Tesla happens to do pretty much the exact same thing to train its neural networks. For instance, if they want to detect a strange new scenario, such as detecting a bicycle being carried on the back of a car, clearly this is different from someone riding a bike. And so what they do is they gather a few examples of a bike on the back of a car, and they create a very inaccurate and vague model of this scenario, and send this model to their fleet, and ask the fleet to return similar scenarios that match the model. Now, not everything that comes back will be perfect, but maybe a whole bunch more instances of bikes on the back of a car came back, and Tesla can use this to further refine the model with more data, and then repeat this process to continue refining the model until it's much more accurate. Conversely, with the FSD safety score formula, they put it out there, collect the data, and rank the users, and they can refine out the top 2 to 3% of drivers while also refining their formula to better detect good drivers. So this formula is a model of a ranking system or a driving evaluation system that's constructed in a similar way to how neural nets are trained. But this has so much more potential to go even further, and let's look at chess as an analogy. Given that brute force methods quickly become extremely complex, the chess engine's AI started by looking at a countless number of chess games played by humans. If the chess engine could remember more games and do deeper calculations, then it has a big advantage over a human. But nowadays, the best AI-backed chess engines in the world don't even look at what humans do. They learn from scratch by playing against themselves over and over. And so following these same sort of evolution steps for autonomous driving, right now FSD Beta is learning from human drivers similar to a chess AI in the earlier days. The humans are basically teaching it the rules of the game, but ultimately, Tesla needs to structure the problem in such a way to get the system to play itself given the rules. Now, the game of real life is much more difficult to model than the game of chess, but if Tesla could use this real-world data and rules collected by the humans to create a simulated game of driving, but accurate to real life using actual video footage and data from the real world, then this system can ultimately play against itself in the same way that chess engines do. Of course, Tesla is working on a real-world simulator, and it's really just a big driving evaluation game. For example, we have a whole bunch of new data that just came back in from users, but we're not going to tell the system how the driver navigated this area. We're going to use the user-generated rules to have this system evaluate itself and figure out how best to handle these scenarios. Right now, FSD is a vague model, where the best human drivers in the beta program are evaluating FSD and correcting it for mistakes. But at a certain point, full self-driving will be good enough to start evaluating the humans. The safety score is the first step to try to bring the best human drivers to the top to help train the system. But ultimately, it won't really need the humans at all, since the vehicles will be able to drive and collect data on their own, and the evaluation system will evaluate itself without needing a human in the loop. But if it can do that, then it can certainly evaluate a human's driving ability. And so now, looking back at insurance, it's a whole new ballgame. This safety score model that Tesla is using today will no longer be needed. Its purpose is to be that vague model in the earlier stages of refining the system's accuracy, in this case by finding the best drivers. But once FSD is evaluating itself and significantly better than human drivers, then it's going to be very good at evaluating humans without these mathematical formulas based on 5 factors, but instead with massive neural nets based on millions of factors seen through the cameras. When a human driver goes for a drive, FSD can compare it to what it would have done for a much more accurate representation of good, safe driving. It will be evaluating based on vision what the camera sees, not the number of hard braking times or sharp turns. That will still be there, but essentially be baked into the neural net vision system. It will look at the quality of the entire drive as a whole in order to much more accurately assess the safety score. This might sound a bit scary, but it will be a way of encouraging people to use full self-driving by reducing insurance premiums when the car is driving itself. Given how much safer FSD will be, this could be highly disruptive to the insurance industry, especially for competitors that are stuck on the traditional evaluation systems. Customers will benefit by paying far less insurance with cars that use FSD simply because of safety and greatly reducing the number of collisions for Tesla's entire fleet. But even if the customer wants to drive themselves, the FSD system can give more accurate tips with how to improve driving, and also step in and override the user behavior at critical times in order to prevent accidents. Of course, Tesla already does this today with collision avoidance systems, but these systems may end up seeming primitive in the face of a neural net-based vision system, which will be magnitudes better at accurately predicting and avoiding collisions. So do you think Tesla's full self-driving system is ahead of other competitors? And do you think that its ability to become masterful at safety evaluation will be disruptive to the insurance industry? Don't forget to check out our Squarespace sponsor link in the description below. please hit the like button and subscribe. We would really appreciate that. And a huge shout out to all of our patrons that help to support our channel. Your support helps us to continue to make great content. Thank you guys so much for watching.